Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Every so often on here, although I talk about luxury, I like to talk about more serious topics, those being money, developing your career, debt management. I feel like these are important topics aside the fact that they actually interest me. Whilst I'm not an expert in this field and I don't profess to be, I talk to you about them from my own personal experience. But what I wanted to talk about specifically today is saving money. I did a video last summer and it was called How I Save for Luxury. The luxury bit, that was just the thumbnail, but really the actual concept of how I save goes for anything. And sometimes I'm not even saving for anything in particular, I just have the money there for if something ever happens. The process that I personally follow, I still stick to it and I still recommend it for any of you watching who are looking for a way of doing it. I take the amount that I get paid each month. I then list out all of my financial obligations, whether it's mortgage, insurances, your mobile phone, whatever you may have, list all of those out and the amounts that you pay each month. Whatever you've got left in your salary at the end of that, I then take around about 20% out of that again, and that 20% covers things like petrol, or if my friend phones me and wants to go to the cinema, those sorts of things, eating out, whatever it may be. There's an allowance there so that it doesn't obviously touch the amount that's paying bills, but equally it doesn't eat into my saving. Then whatever is left from that, that is what I save. But that's all well and good. What happens though if you actually don't earn enough to have anything left once you've paid all your bills? This was a situation that I was in when I came out of university. I've spoken about this before in my debt video, which I will link below, but I was a silly girl at university. I had a good time, but I came out in a real pickle. I came out with more debt than I knew what to do with. It was a really hideous situation. It went on for years. The reason being is that I came out of university and I thought, well, I won't worry about it. I've got a degree now, I'll get my dream job in marketing, I'll be earning, it won't be a problem. How naive I was, because not having any experience meant that I even struggled to get a job in Costa wiping down the tables. I ended up in this job eventually. It had nothing to do with my degree whatsoever. It actually paid me the amount whereby when all of my bills came out, I wasn't paid enough to cover all of my bills. Every single month I'd be like 100 or 200 pounds short. You can imagine, times that by 3 years, you end up in a massive mess, and that is exactly what happened to me. But at the time I was like, well, I either take this job or I can't pay any of it each month, so I've just got to keep treading water. Some of the things that worked for me, and if you're in this situation might work for you, go through your list of bills that you have to pay each month. Things for me that really worked were, I had this mobile phone contract and it was like something stupid like £70 a month, and it was because I wanted this fancy phone a few years previous. So I phoned up the network and I just said, look, this is my situation. Couldn't believe it. They ended up doing me an amazing deal. I was paying £13 a month. They actually put me on a business plan because that was the cheapest thing they could get it down to. The only limitation was I wouldn't be able to get an upgrade on that. They said as soon as you want an upgrade, you're gonna have to go up to like a regular plan. But it was amazing that they did that for me, and it helped me hugely because it saved me so much money. So never be afraid to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. I then did that with a lot of the other commitments that I had. So things like credit cards, I was able to explain to them, this is my situation. I obviously don't want to default on you, but this is where I'm at. Honestly, if you speak to them and you explain the situation, you'd be surprised how helpful and nice these companies can be. And the final thing you can do, and this is really what worked for me, is ask for a promotion. It didn't work for me in this particular job, I'll come on to that in a second. Ask for a promotion. Very often, I think I only got told no once, because actually I think a lot of the time when you ask for a promotion, like, don't just be like, I want more money, but actually go in there with a reason why you're deserving of it. But whenever I did that, I think that so many people were like, oh my God, you've actually asked. I'm gonna give you some money just for asking. It's a really good practice to get into. I think a lot of people feel awkward talking about money and asking for it, but you've just gotta put on a different persona. This is like business, this is your life. Just go and ask for it. The worst they're gonna say is no. The next thing is to get up the career ladder. This is really what's gonna help you out and give you more money at the end of each month after you get paid. So after this particular job, I moved on to another one, and I managed to wangle myself this job. I was paid more than double what I was on before. In fact, I was paid 3 times more than what I'd been on at the rubbish job. So I was sort of like patting myself on the back, but at the same time I was a bit like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Now the way I did it, the first job that I was telling you about, the one that was terrible and It had nothing to do with what I did at university whatsoever. I was basically sat on a reception desk making tea for customers that came in, but there is a way you can word it. Whatever you are doing, there is a way that you can take the truth. You're not gonna lie, because if you lie, you get caught out, but there's a way you can take the truth and use terminology to make it sound like something else. So, for example, I put in my CV that instead of sitting on a reception desk, I was like customer liaison, making sure that clients are happy, supporting superiors that I work with. There's a way of jazzing it up. Technically, it's true, but really what it boils down to is I was a receptionist sat on a desk 7 hours a day. That was the key thing that I did in every single job. I learnt to use words to my absolute best. I would take what I did and I would use terminology that would make it sound a hell of a lot more business-like, because what you want is for these people to read it and imagine how you could slot into their business. So there's some of the things that worked for me. I think this is such an important topic to touch on, because it's all very well talking about being able to save money, but that's assuming that you actually have enough left once you've paid your bills to be able to save even so much as like £1 or something. And not everyone is in that situation. So they are some tips that worked for me. Definitely the promotion thing was the key thing though. That is what took me out of that situation and put me in one where I could actually start to pay off my debt and get rid of it. Always have a plan though. When you go and ask for more money or ask for a promotion, always have like a little plan put together of why you're deserving of it. And if they say no, what I did is I would put my CV out there and I would go to somewhere else that would take me on at that position that I'd wanted. It always worked. For me anyway, it always worked. And I really wanted to share this with you. I hope that some of these tips have helped. If you've got any questions whatsoever, leave them below and I try and scan through and answer any questions. Equally, I would love to know what you think of these videos. Are they helpful? Are they not? Do you want to see more, or do you want to see less, or do you never want to see them again? Like, it would be really good to get your thoughts and feedback on it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.